Welcome back, everybody, to the Nexon Arena. It's time for some more Pro League action coming at you guys. I am Wolf, and with me is Valdez. We're starting things off with MVP versus CJ Entis.
Can't wait to get into these games.
Oh, there we are today.
Oh, man, I got to fix my head position, man. I got to do some exercises. That's not the greatest picture I've ever seen.
Oh, mine doesn't look very good either, but it's because of the way we took that picture originally. It was me, you, Moonglade, and Sojung. We're all kind of leaning into the middle, so that's why it looks like that.
I guess that's where that's from.
We don't actually normally look like that. Well, that was really funny. All right, anyways, those picks aside, MVP is up against the top-ranked team right now in CJ Entis. MVP, a completely newly restructured team on the backs of Choya, MarineKing coming in as well, I'm sure offering his advice. He's been a StarCraft 2 pro gamer for a very long time. And
I was kind of expecting MVP to start off a little bit better. I mean, they are a new team, they are coming together. A lot of these guys are still developing as players as well, whereas a lot of guys on CJ Entis are definitely a little bit more experienced, or at least they've had better results, and we do see that in the fact that they are 3-0 so far, the +5 indicator really taking names so far.
Yeah. Not the easiest wins they took. We saw Jenner's indicator yesterday was insane comparatively. They had a +5 even though they were 2-1. But here you go, our starting players, MarineKing versus Bbyong. Now today, it matters a lot for MVP, but I feel like CJ is bringing their A game as well because they want to keep that top spot. They want to make sure they can ensure that continued dominance. Now, Coach Park is a coach that's not really all about winning. He is about results, but they chose to bring out Hush today, which is a choice I find really interesting, and I wonder how well he's going to play. I almost feel like Coach Park is looking at their opponents, MVP, and saying, let's send out Hush today. Let's use a player we don't normally use in Pro League. We use him sometimes.
I wonder if this actually goes back to Hush's very impressive PvP. We saw him play in some other matches. He didn't look quite as impressive, and Hush really took quite a lot of big names in PvP. So it is on Deadwing, which is a pretty favorite map for Protoss. I wonder if they were like, okay, go out and try to get PvP on this map. We'll give you a chance here, especially because we're doing well.
I think that might be the plan, but they also gives him a little bit more exposure, as well as just make sure he's still warmed up. Shot of Choya here on the left, by the way. Also, it looks like
short bench on the other side.
Yeah, it looks like the rest of the players fell off there. Not sure what happened. Well, let's take a look at these matchups a little bit more in depth. MarineKing versus Bbyong. MarineKing was suddenly on fire, made a big comeback at StarCraft 2, looked decent in his Code S group. On the other hand, though, besides the Hot 6 Cup, he hasn't shown as consistent of results recently.
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of fans of MarineKing out there, myself included, and I know you're a fan of him as well.
Absolutely.
But at times he can definitely be inconsistent. He's very emotional as a player, and I feel like once he started to slump a little bit, he kind of just fell off again. Really looking forward to maybe see that guy start going on the up and up here. Other matchups here today, we got a couple of PvPs. Yoma versus Hero. Definitely would have to favor Hero in that one. Then we got Seed versus Hush. Seed guy we haven't seen in a long time coming out today.
He was actually set to play 4th for MVP last time, but they didn't get to that match, so he actually did not get to play. So that's a bit unfortunate. Then Losira is making a return appearance here. He's going up against Biel in a Zerg versus Zerg, the matchup where Biel lost against Terror last time.
Yep, and here we go, guys. These are the round 1 team rankings so far. Like we were talking about before, CJ Entis 3-0. They are the only team that has not lost a single game. They have a very nice indicator at +5. SK Telecom, even with that one loss, they do have a +6, though. So CJ Entis definitely looking to get that win. And like you were mentioning before, Jenner down there at 4th. Even though they are 2-2, they still have a +4 indicator.
By the way, this is the biggest disparity we have ever had in rankings, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, numbers all over the place.
Look at Samsung. Even if they win their match with a 3-0, they're going to have a +2 indicator too. They'll still be behind Jenner by 2 points. This is like the biggest disparity we've ever had in top 4 and bottom 4 ever. Like it's already looking like these top 4 are going to the playoffs. It's almost already decided.
Yeah, and to mention just StarTale-yoe was up there as well. Life looking incredible yesterday. But here we have the winners rankings. So far, Innovation really taking the cake. 4-0, he got a win yesterday as well. Really impressive play out of that guy, I have to say. Although a lot of people were arguing Munchik did not quite play that well, but still 4 wins already in Pro League. Very nice.
Yeah. It's, I think part of the reason why I ended up getting that interview Just looking at some of these other players, we have Rogue and Deer down there. 2 players that are undefeated so far. Potentially could be higher if they played more often, if they got the better chance. Rogue decided not to play in the last 2 Jin Air games. So
my boy Dirk, he didn't get to play yesterday because they 3-0'd Prime. I was really sad.
Yeah, so close though, so close. He'd be tied with Innovation if he ended up winning that match.
Yeah, man. Biel's up here once again. Even though his 1 loss is against Terror, which is very, very interesting. That's his 1 loss he has, and he has 3 wins.
Yeah, makes it hard to sleep at night, man. All right, well, we're going to have our coach interview. Let's see if Shoya's interview is as interesting as the one we heard from Legend yesterday.
Both teams have the same races coming out today. We have 4 mirror matchups today. They prepared well for their mirror matchups, so Choya thinks they are definitely going to win today. Which player are you most confident in on your team? Well, it depends on the builds, so you can't pick quite one specific player from his team. Their team isn't doing that well, so he doesn't have many comments to make, but he just wants to see his team do well today.
Now hearing from Coach Park, CJ Antis. It's been pretty good these days, he says. That's the best I could translate that for you guys. Yesterday, SKT won, and they're right behind you guys, she asks. Or, says in Korean interviews, sometimes you just make statements and reply. But we don't have any losses. So our goal is to actually win every single match.
사실 최소 3대 1은 오늘 차지하셔야 되거든요.
사실 그 승점에 이렇게 뒤쪽 뛰다 보면 물론 이제 승점 3대 0으로 이기면 좋겠지만 저희가 3대 0으로만 이겨야 된다고 생각을 하고 경기에 임하다 보면
Well, it's good to win 3-0, but we don't really think about the sets all that much. That's not really what's important. We're more focused on winning and losing and results in that regard.
굉장히 좋은 모습 보여주고 있는데요. 좋은 분위기 이어가시길 바랄게요. 과연 간절한 1승은 어떤 팀이 차지하게 될까요? 지금까지 아이리였고요. 중계진 나와주세요.
So that's about it. Keeping it very simple. Just saying it there at the end, like looking forward to their performances. All
first place caster is Kanata. Kanata fighting. Who doesn't love Kanata, man? Great guy.
The thing is, he's never on any of those caster rankings I see floating around. I wonder what Katz thinks about Kanata. We never really
may want to ask him a little bit later on Twitter.
We never really got to hear from him about that, because that guy puts him at number 1.
Yeah.
So who knows? Wasn't even ranked. It wasn't on that recent list on TL either.
Nope.
They didn't even put Infestors on that list, man. Infestors a pretty good caster, actually.
Yeah. One of the best.
High Templar.
I like High Templar, actually, myself. Protoss player, but...
I was thinking about this the other day. There's almost every unit in StarCraft can actually cast an ability. I'm trying to think of, one that can't. I mean, if you count, if you count building structures as not an ability, obviously then...
Zerglings, they don't
Zerglings
really cast
can morph
anything.
to banelings, but that's all they can do?
Oh, yeah, well...
every unit has,
does
something
that count
they can do.
as, a casting spell? I don't know. I guess it does.
Marines can stim,
Yeah.
Medivacs can boost. Also, they can heal as well to target that. Everybody except Monday Caster is going for Bbyong. He thinks MarineKing's got this one.
I wonder what his analysis behind that is, actually. MarineKing just not looking too well these days, as we said before, whereas Bbyong is pretty much on fire. He's winning a lot of games.
Yeah. I'm trying to listen to what he's saying, but... Wait. He just says, he basically, as far as I can hear, he says it's time for him to win. That's all he said. That's not a good reason.
Next time Terror comes out, I'm going to be like, guys, it's time for him to win his second game.
All right, well, here's MarineKing. He's 1-2 this season. He's 2-5 versus Terra, and he's played quite a few TVTs in Pro League. And he's 11-16 overall, which is actually a pretty incredible result considering that he was playing for Prime, and those are a ton of games he's played. He played so many matches actually last season, even though he wasn't even on Prime the entire time on their roster, because for the beginning part he wasn't. And he was still like in that transition period between being, quitting being League of Legends Pro and then switching back to StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I mean, once he had those really nice results in Hot 6 Cup, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's back. You know, one of my favorite players, he's finally back, but he's slumping down a little bit. We'll see if he does go up once again. He's going up against Bbyong, who is pretty much 50-50 here in terms of wins and losses in his overall Pro League performance.
Yep.
In 2015 as well, he's 2-2.
Yeah, and one of the only players to, of course, be able to play 4 times, playing in an ace match, and 4 and 6 in this matchup. Not a whole lot of TVTs we saw. 2012, 2013, we saw a little bit out of him. His TVT was incredible back then, but that was a long time ago. We'll see if he's on form. You know, I would have gone with MarineKing if this was 3 weeks ago. But after seeing his recent results,
me too.
I have to say Bbyong.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that one.
All right, guys, it's time to get into our first match here. MVP versus CJ, MarineKing versus Bbyong.
Up here in the top left, in the red, the Terran player for MVP, it's MarineKing.
The King of Marines. And at the bottom right in blue is Bbyong for CJ Entis.
Yeah.
You're giving me some weird looks because I was cracking up.
Yeah, why don't you tell us all about that?
Well, it's just because right before we went into that game, Bbyong let out the biggest yawn. Like,
I actually didn't see that.
If I didn't know what yawning was, I would have thought he was like charging up a hyper beam or something.
Or like roaring like a lion before he gets into the game.
I mean, I don't have any audio, so I don't know what's going on in there. But
well, pro gamers don't usually have the best sleeping schedules.
No. Casters either, man.
Yeah, even myself, I was going to say, I stayed up pretty late last night. I was just playing some StarCraft. We played some Heroes together as well.
Yeah.
A bunch of us casters out here playing all the different games.
Yeah, we love playing games together. It's a big, happy family out here. We all just queue up no matter what it is. Dead or live games. We love them both. Got some fans down here from all over the place in the studio today.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned MarineKing. I think the last match we saw him in, he was playing against the Marine Prince Maru.
Yes.
In a TVT. And I don't quite remember the entire game, how it played out, but I believe Maru won that one pretty handily. And
actually, what happened was, I remember this game now. MarineKing was trying to mech, and he put a lot of pressure on, and then he tried to take a third base with all the mech that he was building, and then Maru just counterattacked and killed him.
Yeah.
Barely, with a bunch of drops. It was
on
like
Overgrowth,
ping pong.
right?
Yeah.
He was going from the third base to the main.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. I miss Tasia.
Yeah.
Where's Tasia, man?
He says he wants to see him before round 1 ends. But the thing is, we just haven't seen him. We don't know what he's up to these days. He is on the roster, something we don't talk about all too often because he just hasn't been on the roster just yet. But who is that? That's Kanata, of course. But
I was looking at the guy on the left. I'm like, is that Kanata? I don't know.
I mean, it looks really different, man.
Yeah. I was a bit confused there. Marine just going to let the SCV go this time.
Just this time.
Yeah.
Don't
Lucky
you dare
SCV.
come back.
He poked him. He's like, get off my lawn, young SCV.
I don't know if there's any lawns on this map, Brennan, but the metaphor does still stay true.
Yeah. Well, Reaper is out here.
Yeah, and he's actually making a second one, interestingly enough. Bbyong really likes his Reaper openings. His match versus Flash a long time ago, I can't remember if it was in Pro League or if it was in the GSL, where he ended up killing him with a Reaper Rush, was a long time ago, but he was using Reapers, multiple Reapers in TVT, sometimes proxy Reapers. And, one Reaper versus 2 Marines isn't going to work out, but he can avoid them, could scout. Ideally would like to delay the CC. I don't think he's going to be able to get that. What? The
Oh my
SUV
God.
actually unlucky pathing, and he does get that.
Oh, man. Now he's going to start kiting these Marines. He definitely doesn't want to lose that. He's going to jump down now. And, you know, with the double Reaper, if MarineKing was actually going for a reactor, could have actually done some work, you know, come in there, snipe those 2 Marines, and start getting to work on those SUVs. But because he does go for the factory, he is going to be able to get that constant Marine production. He's going to be able to protect against these 2 Reapers.
Yep, and, you know, he's going to be able to kill. If he kills just a Marine here, this could snowball for a moment.
You know, I was saying, you know, if he's got 4 all grouped up, he should be able to push these out. But splitting it into 2-2, trying to, you know, take away the surface area of where those Reapers can jump in.
I mean, he wasn't going to, like, win the game with these Reapers ever, but, you know, if the Marines, like you said, are not together, things get a little bit tougher. Yeah. And 2 Reapers could actually fight a Hellion on their own as well. There's a lot of pressure here that Bbyong puts on with this. But what does it, you know, cost him? Well, it's just his starport is later because, you know, he spent that extra gas that MarineKing did not spend at all, in fact, because he made 0 Reapers. So that's why his starport is so significantly behind.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it because he gets a lot of information, picks off a Marine.
He gets the information. He also gets a quicker CC out here. He's already got that orbital down on the low ground and, you know, going to start mining a little bit quicker.
He even scans. He's so confident that he can spend these resources. You know, the faster starport time goes to MarineKing because he makes Reapers, but he's like, I'm going to play safe. You know, instead of having an extra mule, does a scan just to be safe. And I think that shows confidence that in the late game, he's going to have the better, you know, ability. He's actually feeling like in a macro game, he's better than MarineKing is. Yep. So he just wants to play for the late game.
And look at this already. We were talking about those 2 Reapers coming out early. They're good for just little skirmishes like this as well. He's got to back off now, but he's already doing some decent damage here.
Yeah, you know, Reapers regen too.
Oh my
There's
God.
not anything left here besides Marines, and, you know, they got a bit clumped up, and Bbyong got a lot of nice lineup shots on that.
And now he's got 3 Hellions here at the natural, and these SUVs aren't moving at all.
They're
all going to go down.
He's not even running them away, and now he does it the last second as a Marauder pops out. And honestly, I don't fault him for not running them away, because if he runs them away, then perhaps they line up on the ramp and get all killed.
And you know what? He's getting a lot of momentum with this. We do have a tank out now with the Marauder, but he's even going to fight against that with that landed Viking. He definitely wants to get that siege tank.
Yep.
No repair
and
here.
and
he gets it, man.
He's going to get another SUV. Looks like, oh, not quite. Just a ton of damage done with this. And this is not supposed to be an all-in. This is not a timing. This is just pressure. This is harassment based on what he scouted. And MarineKing just didn't have his Marines split because they got caught on the ramp. Now Marauder's, of course, going to easily deter this.
Yeah, especially with the medevac out. He's got 2 of them grouped up.
But there's not a single Viking on the map for MarineKing right now. His comp has been scouted. In fact, he doesn't even have a Marine. So these Banshees could do some serious work. This scan is really important. Now he has time to react to get ready for this. He does have a few Marines on the way anyways, and 2 additional barracks. A ton of production here for TVT on barracks this early on for MarineKing, who's, you know, right now not in the best spot harvester-wise to actually afford all this, but let's see what he can get done. I mean, he's not out of this game yet. Bbyong is building a solid comp.
Yep, that he is. We do see MarineKing. Looks like he's going for that bio, like you were saying before. He's already got the stem. He's got the engineering bays on the way. He's got a lot of barracks. Whereas Bbyong is just favoring the mech so far.
Yep, he's got stem, so he could kill his Banshee if there's detection. Is there a scan? Doesn't look like it.
He's trying to drop in here and get the scan down. There's not a lot of Marines here. He's going to be able to get it. He does. Just enough for Marines, it turns out.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Marauder accidentally killed an SCV as well there. Maybe a panicked reaction there by MarineKing. A 4 Marauder drop can be easily deterred by these Hellions if it lands at that natural. Turret's coming up here. It looks like a bit too late. Well, Bbyong is doing everything he needs to do. He knows he's up against a more mobile comp at this point, which is tiny compared to what MarineKing would like it to be.
I think those missile turrets are actually going to finish right on time here. As those, as that first medevac comes in for the drop.
You're right.
He doesn't have a ton of missile turrets here, but it is going to be just enough to push that away.
Yeah, well, versus 1 medevac, any more than 1 turret basically serves as a ton of turrets because, you know, that medevac can't, even with boost, run too far. So many Hellions on the map here. They're about to have Blue Flame. Marauders can't even drop on top of that. There's a Raven, which has nearly enough energy, if not already enough, for a PDD. Siege Tank's coming out now as well. If Blue Flame finishes, he can just attack this almost 1A into that bio.
Nice target on the gas here. You want to limit that against your opponent who is going mech. All of these Hellions do transform into Hellbats now, and he's got his first tank now. And with the Vikings out, he's able to snipe a medevac. So Bbyong holding this off for now.
Now, if Bbyong hadn't lost that Banshee, or if he had a second Banshee, he would be able to do even so much more here. Just help zone with those Vikings, the Banshee. MarineKing has a more forward aggressive position. He just needs to do something with it, because if he allows Bbyong to take this third base right now, he's behind in even more ways. I mean, he's got a very aggressive, solid pressure force, but he can't attack directly into this army, and there's turrets in the main, so he can't really drop. Going and hitting this third base would be really nice for him right now, but he's running out of time to do so.
Yeah. Does have a drop out on the map. He might want to drop on these tanks. He's got 4 Marauders in there. Could definitely go for something like that. But, of course, the Viking count does go to Bbyong here. But he does rush in before those tanks are seized up. And here we go. He's kind of drop on these tanks in the background here. But the Hellbats are going back and cleaning them up. And the Hellbats in the front are doing a decent job as well.
Yeah, that PDD was the savior here. That one Raven. And now it's just pure Marine versus Blue Flame Hellbats with Viking support. He's got his own siege tank coming up here to try to help out. Ooh, and a bit overextended here with those Vikings by Bbyong, but he still saves them. MarineKing trying his best to get a lot done with a little here, which is what MarineKing is known for, but it's just not going to be enough in this case.
Snipes a tank. I mean, that's something. And here he goes coming in from the other side as well.
Is he going to make this work? I mean, I really don't think so, but...
Snipes another tank. I mean, he's doing a decent job of keeping that tank count low at least, which is something you definitely want to do as Bbyong. You want to use that momentum, keep the tank count low, and just try to drop all over the place at the same time, be very mobile.
He's just running out of steam. Bbyong has so much money he could make double CCs. He's like, oh, I guess I probably should have made like a third factory for siege tanks here with all the money I have.
Yeah, once he got that third base, he has 2 factories here. And he's got a ton of gas. He's got 6 gases now. MarineKing was able to snipe one of those gases, but that was about it. And here we go, guys. Huge boys push coming across the map. MarineKing's going to try to end this one right here.
Yeah, the problem is that there's so many medevacs now out even to heal the Hellbats. And it was before that MarineKing was trying to drop on top of siege tanks. It's about to be that Bbyong is going to just drop Hellbats onto bio of all types, including biological SCVs. They're going to still take that extra splash damage because they're light from the Hellbats. Even a few regular Hellions here at the front to get some lineup shots. Auto turret goes down as well, and this is going to be nasty. Bbyong pulls his SCVs just to make sure he can defend this 100% without any concerns of that bio getting on top of the siege tanks, and he does so. And this gets crushed.
Man.
And again, MarineKing...
He shuts that down so hard, man.
He just is out of steam. He's got 26 Harvesters left. He's on 2 base versus 3 base, soon to be 4.
GG. There you go, guys. Bbyong doing a really nice job in the beginning, using a bit of momentum with the Hellions, able to do a lot of damage and cut down that worker supply with the Reapers in that mix as well. And then from there, got a decent third base, was able to defend for long enough and just use that momentum.
MarineKing just didn't quite have what it took to defend that location. His army took too much splash damage from the Hellions on the ramp. And that's a kind of a snowball type of effect because Hellions can reinforce so quickly. You know, on this map as well, on Foxtrot, you can almost reinforce Hellions across the map. It feels like a Protoss warp-in, like a Fort Pylon, because how fast they walk across or drive across the map. One of the fastest units in the game.
Yeah.
It's like the same speed as a Phoenix on the ground. And you keep reinforcing. MarineKing can't get a bunker up. And then you've got that Viking even flying across the map. That starts to target down a siege tank.
You get a siege tank, you get some more SCVs, and Bbyong just doing a really nice job. MarineKing, he's got to be, kicking himself. He loses trying to go mech against Maru's bio, and then he tries bio against Byung's mech, and he loses. He must not be happy about this matchup right now.
I feel like we could have seen a completely different game if he had just defended that a little bit better. Even just a little bit. Those things don't snowball so quickly. And then we could have seen a huge powered-up Bioforce out of MarineKing to harass and constantly keep Bbyong on the back foot, where Bbyong doesn't have that massive amount of units he can rely on. He needs to get those turrets up faster.
He doesn't take that early of a third base. Maybe MarineKing takes his third base a bit earlier.
Yeah. Could have seen a totally different game. It's really sad that we didn't. But MarineKing does fall here again. Obviously not the favorite going into that last matchup either. It's just sad that we didn't get to see a real game. Honestly, as Artosis would say, that game almost doesn't even count.
Well, it counts here in terms of results.
That it does.
And that's what CZN just loves to get. They love those indicator points and, of course, the wins. And we're going straight into a PvP, Yoan versus Hero. I definitely favor Hero for this one.